Boy, I wish my throat was not messing up and sounding weird today. Anyways, it's Under the Bridge. Hi, everybody.
Oh, that's all water under the... I'm sorry.
Ugh, you're not fired because I just got this sick logo made.
Yeah, you can't fire me or else you'd have to get him to pay me another one.
I'd have to get a new logo.
You have to pay him again to be like, hey, I need a new logo, but it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, I just fired Nick.
Yeah, my duck's been canceled.
Alright, Greg, you're fired instead.
But I don't even work here.
I gotta
Greg's
fire
name
somebody.
Isn't in there. Yeah.
No, but actually, welcome to this latest week of nonsense and chicanery.
And occasional informative news about the happenings in nerd culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, periodically, although not often. Not often.
I'm one of your co-hosts, Agent Duckman, a.k.a. Nick.
And I am the Scarlet Troll, aka Cody.
And I am Greg.
Yes, you are.
I want to make an addendum to the thing that just has like a wooden board with like 2 nails in it that just says and
Yeah,
Greg.
no. No, see, if we ever need to change it, I'm just gonna scribble and Greg on it.
That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect.
No board, no nothing, I'm gonna self-edit it.
I feel like that I would kind of be like Johnny from Ed, Edd n Eddy at that point. Just with like Plank or whatever. Oh god. Oh, I could have... No, we're not going to explore
No. No, absolutely not.
Let's move on to actual relevant news.
Yeah, we got a new DC... Well, technically it's Vertigo, but we got a new Vertigo series coming to HBO Max, and it's Dead Boy Detectives.
Oh boy, something else I know nothing about. Please tell.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so there was a bit in Sandman where nobody was dying or something similar. Something was wrong with death. I don't remember exactly what it was. And there was a subplot about some ghost boys at a boarding school, and once the whole thing was resolved, instead of passing on, they decided to become supernatural detectives.
Okay.
And that's the premise.
So it's literal Dead Boy Detectives.
Yeah. It's a Sandman spinoff.
I am neither, like, against it nor really interested in it, because that just... I have nothing to bank off of, but it does sound a little bit boring to me, kind of.
It's one of those things where Neil Gaiman stuff is very hard to describe and make it sound
interesting
as it is. Because he's a very good writer, and he writes some very good stuff, but boy howdy, it's hard to parse it down into something that actually makes sense and sounds engaging for people. So, yeah.
Okay.
I guess maybe I'll give it a watch. I don't know.
I'll just wait for what you say about it, Cody, in all honesty, because I'm like neither here nor there with that, in all honesty.
Let me see a trailer.
I'm quite excited. We'll see. We do have a little bit of I Hate Sony news that has nothing to do with Morbius.
Oh.
And it's that we now have confirmation. We already knew this for the UK release, but now we have confirmation for the US release of No Way Home on disc. It does not have the deleted scenes that are still advertised on the box.
Yikes.
Why?
Nobody is 100% sure. The expectation is that Sony wants to release some kind of extended edition of No Way Home in theaters. But what a scummy f***ing move.
That's very
a bit
scummy.
Gross. That's just all around kind of gross.
I'm gonna have to steal that bleep sound from Chase and put that in. I can't wait. You have no idea. I cannot wait.
The power.
I should not have been granted this power, but oh well.
Power.
He's got the power!
I do. So, that's just the latest little bit of Sony or absolute heads news. So moving on from that, we got casting for HBO Max's live-action Wonder Twins movie.
Oh boy.
The Wonder Twins will be played by KJ Apa and Isabel May.
Who?
I'm not familiar with anything Isabel May is in. I saw something called Alexa and Katie, and she also had a recurring role in Young Sheldon. I have watched neither of these things.
Wait, there's going to be a live action about the Wonder Twins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, those are names I haven't seen or heard in a long time.
Form
I remember
of
watching...
pail of water.
Well, yeah, I remember watching them because I believe they were part of, like, Super Friends.
Yeah.
I remember watching some of those cartoons when I was, like, really little, because they were still, like, on Cartoon Network every now and again. Okay.
And then they got homages in Justice League Unlimited as part of Project Cadmus's Counter League attempts. They were part of I think they were called the Ultimen,
Okay.
and the water one has a distinction of trying to drown Aquaman, who just stood there in the middle of this torrential wave of water, raising an eyebrow and just going, "King of the Sea," remember?
It kind of reminds me of the one comic bit where, I forget who, but a villain, like, throws something at Matt Murdock, and it's like, "Ha, I have taken away your sight!" And all the other superheroes are just like, "Aw, he doesn't know, that's so cute."
I think Spider-Man was just there, and he's just like, "You have no idea how badly you messed up."
I mean...
Okay.
But KJ Appa is actually Archie in the CW's Riverdale series.
Oh.
Which I need to catch up on, because that show sounds like an absolute train wreck, and I just, everything I hear about it makes me think I should be watching this train wreck.
All I know about that is that, what's his name from Beverly Hills was in it, and then he died, and everybody got sad. And then, what's his name? "I gladly trade you tomorrow for a hamburger today."
Wimpy?
What?
Not Wimpy, sorry.
Yeah, what would Wimpy from Popeye be doing in Riverdale?
Wrong series, okay.
Yeah, are you thinking of Jughead?
That's who I'm thinking of.
I'm
sorry, they have similar gigs.
See,
they eat a lot of hamburgers?
Yeah, that's about...
So does Shaggy Rogers. What's your point? No, wait, he's vegan now, isn't he?
He is?
Yes.
All I could think about when you mentioned his name was Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, that's...
Like, I know you guys were powwowing about that, but my brain just went like, I should watch Avatar again.
I mean, yeah, Avatar's great. I need to do a rewatch myself.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Wonder Twins movie is happening. I can't wait to probably not see it, because it's coming to HBO Max and it sounds horrible.
It does sound
just on the
terrible.
face of it.
It's just feels so random. Like, of all the things they could have picked.
Moving on. Barry Keoghan. Keoghan? Keegan? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how I would
Probably.
pronounce it, by looking at it.
Huh. Barry Keoghan. Got it. Has been arrested and then released.
For what?
And with significantly less drama than Ezra Miller's arrest.
For what?
Just for contrast.
What was he arrested for?
Public intoxication.
Oh, well, that's
Nice.
a boring one to get arrested for, not gonna
That
lie.
is a
Yeah.
bit boring, yeah.
And it was in Dublin, of all places.
Well,
wow.
then he didn't commit a crime. He was just a local.
I was just saying that might be one of those things where it's like, they're just like, alright, man, we know where you are, but you're being a little nuts even for here, so...
Yeah, as I understand it, they got some noise complaints, and he was standing out on a balcony, being very, very drunk. No violence, no anything extreme. He's already been released,
Well,
so...
I'm not upset then,
Okay.
because I honestly, that's like the most boring thing to get arrested for, so...
It
The only thing more boring to get arrested for is a parking ticket or child support payments.
I think if you're willing to let a parking ticket go long enough they arrest you for it, that's actually more exciting.
I don't know if exciting's the wrong word. I think that would just be disappointing.
Like, for me, that's a step above library book.
Oh, God!
No, because when it comes to things like that, there's just general laziness, and then there's so lazy I have a warrant out for my expired parking ticket.
Oh yeah, I need to renew my vehicle registration. That's in like 10 days. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to help.
So yeah, that's a minor story, but in the interest of fairness, I thought I should report on that. Nick Cage, back in 2000, got some comics stolen, and he had a very extensive rare comic collection, including Action Comics #1.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Which,
Oh, wow.
some of them were returned in 2011, and he then turned around and sold Action Comics for like $2 million or some obscene amount.
Jesus.
But there are some missing, including his Detective Comics #27, the debut issue of Batman. And it came up because he was doing an AMA on Reddit. I think it was Reddit. And
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so good. You should read
somebody
it.
asked him if you could steal any actual treasure like the Declaration of Independence and National Treasure, which would it be? And he said something to the effect of, I just want my comic books back, man. Which is very wholesome.
It's very wholesome. Like, I did not know that Nick Cage was even in the comics.
Hugely
until
into
I heard
comics.
that.
You know, the whole reason
Yeah.
he changed his name to Cage was after Luke Cage. I mean, he changed his name so he wouldn't get associated with his uncle Francis Ford Coppola and get jobs due to nepotism, but he picked Cage because of Luke Cage.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's a massive comic geek.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
The man's crazy in the best way possible, and I can't wait for the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent this weekend.
It's going to be amazing.
It looks like a good time. Yeah, I did not know that. But I hope he's successful.
Yeah, because he also said some of these are worth I could probably get $10 million at that point, and I could do a lot with that, like give it to charity, and it's like, aw.
Yeah, it's like good Nicolas Cage. God, that AMA was so great. Sorry.
No, it's on topic.
Nicolas Cage is one of those actors where, gosh, I hope it turns out there's no skeletons in his closet.
Yeah.
No actual skeletons in his closet.
Oh, God.
Well, it's one of those things where I both would and would not be surprised, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't think there are, but it's one of those things where, considering how kind of nuts he can be sometimes, it's like, I don't think it'd be a total shock, but I would still be very disappointed.
Yeah, it's like, you seem like a harmless enough human being, but I also kind of potentially buy that maybe you've killed a man.
Do you think he's killed a man?
I would not necessarily be surprised if he hunts his fellow man for sport. I'd be very disappointed, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised.
You take this hunting rifle deep into the woods, and I will try and hunt you down before you even pull the trigger.
Yeah, something like that. That was a terrible Nick Cage, though.
It was. I'm a Nick, though, so I can... At least I have that.
Hey, there you go. I don't know, Nick Cage got some points back for me with that whole thing, because he mentioned that someone asked what car does he own. He said, I have a newer Shelby Mustang that I've had dressed up to look like Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. I'm like, yes. Even though that movie isn't very good, I do love that answer. So,
all right, then. So, let's talk box office for the weekend.
Oh, boy.
Fantastic Beasts did take number 1, edging out Sonic 2. However, at $43 million domestic, it is, I believe, the lowest opening weekend for a Harry Potter film.
Is it really a Harry Potter film?
Yeah, it's Harry Potter.
It is.
It's
the
in the
Wizarding
World of Harry Potter.
I can't stand...
It's at $193 million worldwide, which, considering its budget, not counting marketing, was $200 million, means it's probably not making some money back, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely great to hear. I love it.
Please no more. Please no more.
Yeah, let's stop with this one.
I hope that they stop, but from what I've gathered, because I did kind of spoil myself looking at the discussion page for it on the movie subreddit, it doesn't seem like they're going to stop. But we'll see.
Until the review,
we'll see what happens.
Where we review it.
Yeah. So, Sonic 2 took $30 million domestically this weekend. It is currently at $230 million worldwide for its total. Hopefully that continues to go up.
Damn. And
reporting on Morbius, it made $4.7 million, a 53.9% drop from last weekend, according to Box Office Mojo, for $146 million worldwide total. It's done.
Against how big of a budget?
75 mil, I think.
So it made its money back, but not enough.
Like,
it's not going to break 200 mil.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they're just barely going to be in the red.
In the black.
Or in the black.
In the red means it lost money.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Not totally surprised to hear that either way.
Yeah. I'm just sad that they're, okay, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent comes out this week, The Northman comes out this week, and Bad Guys comes out this week. But I don't think any of those are a Fantastic Beasts dethroner, you know?
Oh, no.
No.
Unless, maybe it'll take a Morbius drop. Maybe everybody who was going to go see that movie saw it in the first weekend.
Honestly, I feel like out of all three of those, the only competition that it really has is Unbearable Weight, and even that's an indie film that not a lot of people, unless you're a very big Nicolas Cage fan, you're not gonna...
I think if anything's got a shot, it's Bad Guys, because,
animated film.
It's an animated film. It's DreamWorks, which doesn't carry the weight it used to, but they've still got quite a bit of prestige behind them.
It also looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. So, I don't know, I think that'll do it, because like you said, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is very...
very niche.
The concept itself is just bizarre.
when it was first announced, I remember thinking to myself, it's like, this actually might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then trailers came out, I was like, alright, this actually looks quality. I really want to see this
if you
now.
want to hear dumbest things I've ever seen, wait until the review.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So, the next thing. We're getting into some weird stuff now.
Oh, like we weren't already?
Oh boy, our favorite.
Oh, this is some stuff. Jason Momoa is reportedly in talks to star in a live-action Minecraft movie for Warner Brothers.
Now, that got spoiled for me. And how does this work?
You know what?
I don't know.
Is he gonna be Steve?
I am.
That is the extent. All I know is that he is in talks to star in this live-action Minecraft movie, which, okay, you know, it was really funny because when I read it by Pat, his reaction was, why is it at Warner Brothers? And I just went, that's the thing? That's the part?
That was his thing? That was his...
At least I think that was the thing that got him. It might have been something else,
no,
but I specifically remember saying, the thing that got you wasn't live-action Minecraft movie. How does that work?
Literally, that movie's
what
gonna,
the
like...
hell?
How? How does that even make sense? That makes no sense at all.
Is it weird, though, that assuming that he's meant to be Steve, I can almost kind of see it?
Who do you think they're gonna cast as Alex?
Please not Amber Heard.
Oh no.
I'm just sitting here like, why? I hope it's not as bad, but this kind of sounds like when the Emoji movie was announced to me, and I was just sitting there
but
like,
at least
why?
the Emoji movie's an animated movie where it makes sense to have talking emoji. How do you make Minecraft make sense in a live action movie unless it's an live action animated hybrid?
Well, I'll tell you this. Here's what I think. I think they're doing this because Warner Brothers no longer has the license to make Lego movies. I think they're banking on this being their replacement Lego movies, because remember, now those are at Universal, which means have fun getting Lego Jurassic World and Lego Fast and the Furious.
Oh god.
They'll do it. You know they're crazy enough to do it.
I would totally watch and or play a Lego Fast and the Furious movie or game.
Oh, 100%.
I probably wouldn't.
Just to
Lego
hear...
Universal horror movies.
Oh my god, I would love that. That would be amazing.
That would be dope. That would be pretty cool.
What have I opened now? What is this Pandora's box? I'm gonna move on.
Lego Jaws.
So,
Lego Jaws.
Guys, what do you think is the most times you've ever seen a movie in theaters?
5?
Three,
I'm pretty sure mine is 4.
Endgame
And let me tell you...
5. Go on.
Yeah, I think I saw 4 for Endgame. And let me tell you, those are some basic bitch numbers.
Oh.
Because Guinness World Records has confirmed that Florida man Ramiro Alanis has set the world record for most cinema productions attended of the same film, having seen No Way Home a staggering total of 292 times.
What?
Holy shit. How? Wait, I'm sorry, I have to do the math on this. How long is No Way Home's run
700 and something hours is what I saw in the summary.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
And apparently has spent like $3,400 in movie tickets.
This man needs help.
Yeah, right?
I'm sorry, like, as good as a movie that is, it's like, no.
As I understand it, he previously held the record for Endgame, which was 190 something, I think, and then somebody took it from him for some other movie called Camelot. And then he took it back just now with No Way Home.
Oh my god.
How many times did you say he saw it?
292.
Okay, so 292. So that's a little over 43,200 minutes. So, yeah, about 720 hours.
That's insane.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
I mean,
insane.
I love No Way Home more, like, about as much as the next guy, but this man needs, if he can't quote every scene, there's a problem.
So he's basically spent a month in a movie theater watching No Way Home.
Dear.
Because if my math is correct, it rounds out to just over 30 days.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
That is actually terrifying.
Well, he has everything he needs there. He can take a shower in the bathrooms, use the bathroom in the bathrooms. He's got concession, he's got everything there. He can just live there and just sleep during,
Maybe
the boring
has
scenes.
a bar.
I was gonna say, so my question at that point would be, what does Guinness World Records consider a full sit-through? Like, do you just, like, sit through it, never go into the bathroom?
Oh,
like,
God.
How does that... Because sometimes they'll, like, kind of set rules for things where it's like, it has to be under these conditions, so I'm very curious about that.
Oh, that was in there. Let me see if I can pull this back up. According to Guinness, in order for each viewing to be successfully counted towards the record total, the movie must be watched independently of any other activity. That means Ramiro couldn't look at his phone, take a nap, or even go to the bathroom whilst the movie was running. The film must be watched to completion each time, including all of the credits. In addition to every ticket stub being submitted as evidence, a statement was taken from a theater attendant after each viewing to confirm that Ramiro was watching the film throughout.
That poor attendant. I'm sure that the guy was, like, nice enough, especially if he spent, like, effectively
out, right?
a month.
You know he didn't literally spend a month living in the movie theater.
No, of course it is, but it's still a ridiculous amount of time to dedicate.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, it doesn't matter, like, how he did it, it's the fact that
that movie's been out less than 4 months, I'd like to remind you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he spent... I would love to talk to the theater attendant who had to always sign off.
I think it was different attendants, and basically like,
yeah,
okay, you're on this guy duty.
You're on Ramiro
duty.
Doesn't matter. I would love to talk to any of those people.
They probably
about
just
that.
they probably just like keep track of whichever person's like running the projection, and hey, you need to keep your eye on this guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if that means I'm not cleaning up some
yeah,
kid's
exactly.
puke,
I would
then
take
I'll
that.
take
I'd be
it.
like, fuck that. I'd just watch the movie with him.
So, moving on from that, Nick, do you remember how you were talking about wanting a Sega Cinematic Universe?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, I've got some news courtesy of Deadline that Sega is actually working on a Streets of Rage film.
Oh yes, I would.
What?
I'm so seeing that. That sounds amazing.
Cool.
But wait, there's more.
Oh no.
No, this is good news.
Okay.
The script has been written by John Wick scribe Derek Kolstad.
Ooh.
Streets of Rage, but John Wick. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that sounds.
Right?
That sounds like a very good time.
And it's being produced by the same company that did Sonic.
That sounds
okay.
amazing.
So, are we actually getting this? Because this sounds amazing. Like the Sega Universe. Oh my god.
Right?
Oh,
yeah,
dude, Golden Axe the movie. Oh, Shinobi the movie. Dude,
That sounds
Altered
I
awesome.
figured
Beast the
you guys
movie.
would like that.
Rise from your grave. Oh.
Rise from your grave!
I'm not even big into Sega stuff, but I would love
The
to.
soundtrack alone is worth going
that-
to the theater for that. Oh my god. Okay, that's actually really cool news.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could bring that before you got spoiled on it.
Damn. Yeah, that's actually, like, really, 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 really hyped. It's actually one of my favorite Sega franchises, so, like, I will actually be closely following that. That's actually pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess the last bit of non-gaming news, technically non-gaming news, is the Thor Love and Thunder teaser dropped today, which, can I just, after the whole Miss Marvel thing, boy am I glad this one dropped before the podcast. So it was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks interesting. My only real thing with it is that I felt like I couldn't really get a good vibe of how it was supposed to feel. Because it kind of felt like it was starting around a couple different spots.
Yeah, I do kind of like that this one feels like an actual teaser, where it doesn't give you the whole plot just by watching it.
Yeah.
I think, though, for me, the main issue is that I am not a fan of the direction Thor's been going in since Ragnarok, and since I know this is going to be more of that, it's the case of, well, I'm not super hyped for this. It looks like they're doing it decently well, and there are bits in it that I like, but on the whole, not super impressed. As you said during the little bit we were talking about it before, Nick, it's just a very overplayed trailer song.
Yeah, Sweet Child of Mine, real original. And, like, are the Guardians co-starring in this?
I assume they're leaving the movie early in. Thor decides probably he's done fighting and superheroing and parts ways, and that's when Star-Lord gives him the pep talk. Because we already knew they were going to be in it, but they're probably not going to be in it.
They're not in it to win it.
Like,
maybe they'll come back to
focus.
help for the final boss. Or
Maybe that'd be neat. The final fight with Gore the God Butcher, presumably.
Mm.
Is that the guy who looks like he's holding the Shazam?
No, that's
bolt?
Zeus.
Okay.
Played by Russell Crowe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. No. You know Gore the God Butcher when you see him.
Okay.
Not the least of which because he's played by Christian Bale.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
So we won't recognize him when we see him.
No, we won't. I lied.
Nice.
Okay, well, yeah, no, my opinion on it is... Is it... Who is directing it? Is it Taika Waititi?
It's Taika again.
I don't care.
I'm pretty sure... I mean, it wasn't very shown very well, but I'm pretty sure that the scene where they're looking at the giant frozen dead monster, I'm pretty sure that was Taika Waititi's character.
No, that was Korg.
Yeah, Korg is in this movie.
Yeah,
and that was actually taken basically straight from the comics. It's a very good image.
Oh, okay. I'm interested, at least. I could take it or leave it. I guess the main thing is because I do a very bad job of keeping up with like when the Marvel movies are supposed to come out. I guess if anything, I'm just surprised that it's coming out so soon.
When is it?
I thought it would be a lot
July
later.
8th.
Oh, really?
July.
Yeah, this is ridiculously late in the movie's release cycle to just be getting the first teaser.
To be completely honest, I never have faith in a movie that puts their trailer out this late for a teaser. That to me shows a sign of lack of confidence from the studio. So
I don't know. I think ordinarily you have a point, but I think in this case it's probably more just a case of they already had to market Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, and Miss Marvel, so they had to space it out more. Nothing about this tells me it's going to be bad. Granted, very hard to tell from a teaser, but at the worst, this looks just more of not my speed. But there
I'll
are
be there
some
day
bits
one.
that I like. Yeah, I'm gonna be there day one. It does not matter.
Whatever. Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing.
So, what do we all think of the first look at Jane Foster's Mighty Thor?
She does not look that intimidating.
I kind of know what happens with her in the comics, so I'm just more interested in how she...
Does she have cancer?
Becomes... Whoa. Not necessarily that. At that point, it's just like, it's one of those things where I don't necessarily care about how she looks. I'm much more interested in how she comes to be in the space of the movie.
Because Mjolnir is very obviously reforged based on merchandising and the one shot of it we get. The question is, who put it together, and how, and why, and how did she get it?
I don't know.
Like, I don't have a problem with Jane Foster being Thor. I have a problem with her being the only Thor, and honestly, I kind of wish they'd go with a different identity, because Thor is his name. But, what have you.
I mean, honestly, well, isn't...
His name is Thor Odinson.
Never mind, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, when they kind of did that whole thing in the comics, if I'm being honest, my immediate thought when that was shown was like, oh, they are so going to put this in the movies at some point. Yeah, it wasn't even a question of if, it was a question
of
100%.
And it's Naomi Watts, right?
They'll do it all right. Natalie Portman.
Why did I get those two? I've been watching...
Naomi, what?
Why did I say Naomi Watts?
Naomi Wise?
Let's move on before I break my
Who's?
brain.
Okay.
What's next?
So, next topic.
That's all I had. Over to you, Jim.
Okay.
But that's Nick.
Shut up. Nobody has to know.
Okay, so I just got two stories that are both bizarre. They're both gaming related. The first one, Club Penguin Rewritten, has been shut down by Disney. 3 suspects have been arrested. If you go to the website, it is currently taken over by the feds. They have a...
now I have to check this.
Yeah, I have to check this.
If you Google it, this site has been taken over by Operations Creative, Police Intellectual Property Crime Unit.
I might have to take a snippet of this and insert it.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre, not gonna lie. It says City of London Police at the top, which is, bizarre.
You're not kidding.
Yep.
Oh my god,
I'm gonna have to
snippet this. This is going in.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, from the city of London? Hell yeah. That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy. Basically the three people were, I believe they were British, I want to say. They might have been, they were somewhere in Britain, but they were all arrested on April 12th on suspicion of distributing materials infringing copyright, and basically they have been completely full front with the police. They've shut down the server, they've shut down their Discord.
I have to grab that snippet tonight.
It's a complete wipe. It's crazy that the city of London is officially involved in taking down Club Penguin.
Club Penguin rewritten.
Yeah, it's not the first time this has happened. There are reports, that this of a different server, that kids were having e-sex on there. So,
oh dear.
Oh, God.
That got shut down pretty quickly, but this one, it's just, I think this is straight Disney, because I think what happened, after doing a little bit more research, I think because they started putting ads on the website to they started putting ads on the website to help run it, I think that's what got Disney's attention, and they just went, no.
That'll get you.
The House of Mouse throws a wide blanket over people who try to take its money.
I don't blame Disney. Disney is in their rights to shut them down, but what are they doing with Club Penguin? Let's be honest.
It's kind of dumb, but it is one of those things, unfortunately, when it comes to copyright law, which definitely needs to be relooked at some point. It's one of those things where it's like, when you start trying to make money off of it, no matter what the money is used for, it's like, they're kind of required to,
No, I completely understand. I don't think anyone, I'm not upset or anything. It's just bizarre. And
it was weird. I remember seeing that pop up on my newsfeed. I'm like, what?
I think the most bizarre thing of it is the actual, the fact the website is official City of London takedown notice.
No, what got me, when I first saw, I didn't read the article, I just saw the headline, was in the headline seeing the things, new Club Penguin, 3 people arrested. It's like, oh no, there's so many ways this could go. I'm kind of glad that it's just copyright.
Yeah, I am very glad it's just copyright and not anything else that we can't talk about for monetization purposes. So yeah, that's that news. The other one, and this is a sadder news story, and I Square Enix president still thinks that the company is going to utilize the blockchain and NFT to grow the future of their company.
God, I hate everything.
God almighty.
Yeah, it's actually infuriating. I have to say, this kind of made the neurons in my brain rumble and made me think about it for a second. But it makes sense. You gotta think about
Square Enix is terrible and shitty.
They are, but you gotta think about Japan's gaming ecosystem. I would say that out of every country and every region, Japan specifically, Korea as well, but mainly Japan and China, have the biggest quantity of whales out of any country. So gotcha games. I mean, look at the amount of microtransaction laden games that come out of those countries that nobody's complaining about over there because they buy them. So the fact that Square Enix is going full into it, Bandai actually just said that they're going to be going full in, which doesn't surprise me at all. They're trying to build a metaverse for Gundam because that's a thing.
Oh, okay. As long as they don't try to insert NFTs into Ace Combat, I think good.
I think they may. So,
please no.
It seems like that. Japan is making an unfortunate push towards NFT gaming, specifically just trying to make that market more. I can see where Japan's taking it. Square Enix has made the biggest push out of all those companies. I mean, I know that there is a news story of Blizzard trying it. Blizzard has been testing the waters with it. And asking some of their, asking fans, what they think about it. I doubt that's gonna backfire.
What the? I have to say, the balls on Blizzard. It's like, hey, y'all are in the middle of a huge scandal right now and being bought out by Microsoft. It's like, hey, our fan reception's really bad. let's try to pitch NFTs to the people that really don't like us right now. The balls on that company.
Buy Orc Coin.
Just wait until Final Fantasy has a NFT game where you get It's like it's Dissidia, but it's all NFT. Like you have to get NFT drops in order to get your character.
Oh, I hate it.
You know what I've seen? Actually, before I do this, do you have any more gaming news? Nick?
I just have the new releases and everything, but you can move on to your thing.
I mean, I haven't read it, but I do remember seeing an article over the weekend saying that I guess Microsoft, apparently there's a pretty strong rumor that Microsoft is experimenting with inserting ads into, like, some of their first-party games.
How?
Well, see, here's the thing that's interesting. That's not necessarily new. That's something that's various studios have done before. I distinctly remember that when Burnout Paradise came out in 2008, one of the ads that was EA put into the game was ads for Barack Obama's presidential campaign. No, I am not. I am not kidding. You can find pictures of it. But amongst the various billboards in the game where they would advertise other EA products, there were a few that had Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign.
Oh, okay. See,
yeah.
I thought you meant that you'd be in the middle of playing Halo or something, blaring through the Covenant, and then a screen would pop up. Your content will resume in 30 seconds.
So it's one of those things, actually, because I fully acknowledge I haven't read the article. I've just seen this constantly pop up over the weekend. It kind of feels like that might be what they're going for, like a Ready Player One scenario.
No.
I hope that's not it.
Yeah, maybe read the article next time before you bring us this shoddy excuse for journalism.
But, well, with the way things going, I also totally wouldn't be shocked.
To be honest, I did read a news story that said that they're going to be adding it into Game Pass. They're going to be adding ads, which makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, that might actually be what it is, which does make more sense. I mean, kind of silly a little bit, but it does make a lot more sense.
Yeah, it makes a little bit more sense that they can do what they want with Game Pass. If they add them into Game Pass games for the free tier, is what I think they're trying to do. That makes more sense to me. This is all speculation. I briefly read the article, but I do believe they are going to try to add ads into the Game Pass. So.
Okay. As I say, the only other things, I guess, as news-related that I have is that there have been some musings about the new Need for Speed game that's supposed to come out this year, being developed by Criterion.
Is it developed by Criterion?
Yeah, Criterion has the reins of it this time. Actually, the game was delayed because EA pulled a good chunk of the Criterion team away from the game so they could help DICE make the vehicle physics for Battlefield 2042. Which, considering the current state of Battlefield 2042, I don't think that was the right call, but whatever. But I digress. Criterion's developing a new game. Apparently I don't know at this point if it's supposed to be next-gen or current-gen, considering how hard it is to get these freaking consoles. The next game is supposed to be current-gen only, so it's going to be PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, and maybe Switch, we'll see. Which I'm kind of okay with, because that actually gives me a reason to get an Xbox Series now. And apparently, and this one is more so a rumor than anything else, apparently the game is being visually designed where it still has kind of photorealistic graphics like Gran Turismo and Forza, but there's going to be anime elements in the game, visually. What that means, I have no idea. I don't know if it's going to be a thing where you're just driving along and then Marin Kitagawa just pops up from the back of your car.
No, I'm hoping it's anime,
it's just Noctis.
No, I'm hoping it's the drift effects, the vroom, the.
Oh my.
So the pre-alpha test build of the game, some gameplay footage was actually leaked last year, and it made its rounds on YouTube, and some of the footage, when you look at the drifting, the drift smoke does actually look a bit cartoonish, comic booky. It's one of those things where people couldn't tell if that was something because of it being so early in development, and it was just an early asset, or if it was something where it's no, this is kind of the art style they want for the game. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see how that turns out. It would definitely make the game distinct, if nothing else.
Anime edition. you got your collector's edition is all waifus.
Honestly, if they did that, especially if it was a steelbook, I would buy that 100%.
You disappoint me.
Thank you. The other thing too is you know how a couple of weeks ago I talked about like Motorsport Games' whole like debacle. So apparently there's been kind of some news circulating about that. It seems like that Motorsport is kind of shifting its focus from actually making games based on the series that they paid licenses for into using said licenses to promote mobile NFT games. And that, as you can imagine, has gotten very negative reception from the general racing community. And according to a couple people who actually like are within not within NASCAR, but they're journalists who follow like NASCAR and everything that happens with the organization. Apparently NASCAR is trying very, very hard to take their license away from Motorsport and just have somebody else make games for them. Which is good. That's one of the very few smart things that NASCAR has done. So, yeah.
Well then.
Yeah, so, it's
before we get to the game release roundup and on this day roughly in gaming history, I just want to vent a little mini frustration, which is that Min Amiibos are supposed to release April 29th, which is a Friday, which means I work. And since I work basically all day, I cannot get down to Best Buy or GameStop or wherever and, actually just get one. I cannot pre-order one of these things for the fucking life of me.
I got you, bud.
What do you mean?
I'm off on Fridays.
Oh, if you could grab one, that would be great. Because no, I'm just pissed off because it's like, oh, coming soon, or on GameStop's case, not available for pre-order or whatever. It's like, god damn it!
Oh, I thought it was a thing of they were just getting swamped with so many people trying to pre-order that
I live across the street from a Best Buy. I can walk there on Friday and see if it's there, and if
Fabulous.
It is, I will buy it for you, and you just pay me back.
I will gladly do that because I need it for my shelf.
I know you have every one, yes.
If I got this far and I miss out on Fighter Pass 2 Amiibos, I'm already gonna be mad enough if Sora doesn't get one. But if I miss out on these because for some reason no pre-orders, I guess. Oh boy.
Maybe I'll get a new one to beat Chase's Amiibo finally.
I'm surprised that there still hasn't been more news about a Sora Amiibo.
Yeah.
Speaking of gaming news, the release
hit us with it.
There's nothing coming out this week.
That might be the best subversion this week's. Yeah, that's the best.
There's literally only a port of Star Wars The Force Unleashed for the Switch, and a game called Teardown for PC, which I know literally nothing about. I guess it's a voxel world exploring game. The only game that really matters that comes out on April 20th, though, on 420 itself.
Oh, yeah.
Glover!
Oh,
yeah,
really?
the Glover is getting ported to PC for some reason.
Oh.
Mad love for the Glover!
Best game release of all time. Hype. I'm going to
Game of the Year every year.
Game of the Year every year. Glover 2022. Okay. Glover for president.
I'd vote for him.
Can we get a Glover movie, but starring the Hamburger Helper Ham?
Oh my god!
Yeah, why not?
No.
Yeah. Okay, moving straight from releases this week, since this week sucked. But to be honest,
that was a good setup, though.
That was a good setup. It's like choose your own adventure. There's nothing here.
I mean, there really isn't this week. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been really good.
There's nothing here.
So. This week in history, in gaming history, some major releases that we had this week. Super Metroid is 28 years old this week.
Damn.
Shin Megami Tensei 2 is also 28 years old. They came out on the same day, which is weird. That's a really hard game choice for Japanese gamers right there. Portal 2 is 11 years old.
My god.
Cuphead Switch port is 3 years old. That's a very specific port. Metal Slug, the arcade, the first version of the classic SNK Neo Geo game, 1996, 26 years ago. Fire Emblem Awakening came out 10 years ago in 2012.
Crom is old now.
Crom is old, indeed.
Crom's Grom's a bit gray.
If you think that's old, Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and Blade of Light came out in 1990, 32 years ago this week.
Marv's even older.
Fire Emblem was... Wait, I did not know that Fire Emblem was that
Fire
old.
Emblem
It was on the Famicom.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute noob.
Holy shit, I did not... No, I'm sorry, I genuinely did not know that. Holy hell.
Mother 3 is 16 years ago. It came out in 2006 in the Game Boy Advance, and it still hasn't had a North American release. Nintendo.
Old enough to drive, not old enough to afford a ticket to America.
Not old enough to get past the import.
4 years ago, we got God of War, 2018 remake, which is, legendary.
The remake or the
remake?
New one.
The remake.
Okay.
38 years ago, we got Duck Hunt on the original Famicom. We got the Game Boy release in Japan. We got Super Mario Land for the Japan that came out in Japan. Obviously, that was a launch title for the Game Boy. Splatterhouse came out for the TurboGrafx 16. 15 years ago this week, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out.
Huh.
And Nintendo's done nothing with that. Oh wait,
I hate you for making me feel.
I was say, Cody, you did an exasperated ha. I just did a surprised ha at the same time.
And happy birthday to Yoichi Yamada, who is 58 years old this week. You may not know his name, but he is the planner for the entire Legend of Zelda series. Every single Legend of Zelda game, pretty much, he's been a part of as the director.
That is a thankless job.
That is a hell of a job. That's like the people who have to write Star Wars stories while still being canon. Oof.
He also planned Luigi's Mansion and Star Fox, among other games. He is he was basically most of your favorite games for the system. He was one of the main planners and supervisors, and now he's in the executive team. So
good for him.
Yeah, he did Doki Doki Panic.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the gaming news this week.
Neat. So before we do a review, did you have something, Greg?
No, I was just going to make a bad joke about how, with Duck Hunt in particular, was and so Nintendo started the trend of gaming that would stay forever, of people trying to get light guns to work on flat screen TVs.
Oh,
yeah.
I still have a light gun. I still have my Nintendo light gun, but I don't have an NES, which is hilarious.
Same.
They're cool.
Zappers are cool.
I have the non-orange tipped one. I have the original model.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry.
I will say, working at the game store, it is surprising how many people, because I tell everybody, it's hey, just so you know, this only works on CRTs. You can't use this on newer TVs. And it's pretty surprising how many people are I'm just buying it just to have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool. It's why I want a Power Glove. I just want one to have them. They're cool.
So before we do today's review, the topic that I wanted to bring last week, but last week was running very long, and so we skipped over it, is there was a thing that I found where the creator of America Chavez was discussing that they actually turned down what they were offered from Marvel in terms of royalties or whatever you want to call it, because it was a pittance. And that got me thinking, because that's been a thing that's kind of been rumbling around this whole last couple of years in particular, which is that creators of comics characters aren't apparently getting paid a lot for having created the characters that are being used in these adaptations. But having heard it over and over again, should they?
I mean, if you're creating a...
So, it depends how the contract is. That's all I'll say, from a legal perspective.
Yeah, I mean... Well, that is definitely the number one thing. If we're talking about, actually real world, how the world works kind of stuff, that is by far and away the most important
If the contract says that everything that they create for the company is owned by the company, and that's usually how these work. Usually if a creator makes something for, Jim Starlin, when he made, he made Thanos. When he made Thanos as a villain, there's probably something in his contract that said that Marvel owned the rights to anything he drew.
Oh, yeah.
So,
actually, it's funny with Jim Starlin specifically. He's mentioned that he got more for KG Beast appearing in Batman v Superman than he did for Thanos. But I wasn't really asking more from a legal standpoint. I was just asking more from a standpoint of, do you think that it should be different?
From a moral standpoint, from an actual, creator standpoint, I think they've got an argument. I'm not going to say that they don't. I mean, they're the ones that created these characters. But personally, I'm going to side with the company. And I know that's a very, dumb thing.
It sounds ugly to say it, but...
It sounds very ugly to say it, but yeah, it's true. I mean, unfortunately, you knew what you were signing up for. If you wanted, there are many comic creators that make not many, but there has definitely been a good handful that have been able to make their comic outside of, one of the major companies. One of the big ones that I can think off the top of my head is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, probably the most successful independent comic of all time, because they own the entirety of that their characters. They can do what they want to them, and they were able to make massive success off of them. Todd McFarlane, to some degree, he basically made his own company with like 4 other creators from Marvel. Went ham and made Spawn, and I think he owns the rights entirely to Spawn and all that jazz. I don't know what Image is it Image or is it Vertigo?
Image, because Vertigo is DC owned.
Correct. Okay, yeah. But I don't know Image's thing is on that, but go on.
I'd say I feel like there's kind of arguments both ways. I would say, personally, I would feel like I would maybe side with the creators a tad bit more, but I feel like both sides definitely have reasonable arguments. The only noteworthy thing I could really add is that hearing that kind of reminds me of the stories about how when Atari first got big, and they would always go hey, within the company, apparently they'd go hey, we just made millions of dollars off this game. Be happy about that. And a lot of the developers at the time were we literally made a lot of those games by themselves. We should probably get paid more for it. And Atari told them to fuck off, and a lot of them left and created many facets today, including Activision.
Right, Activision was a whole bunch of disgruntled people from Atari.
Yeah, so obviously it's probably not to that extent, but hearing that does remind me of that story, where it's it's one of those things where it's more than likely the company has said, okay, anything that you make for us belongs to us. But it's also a thing of, if your employees probably could get paid more, especially when the things they create become, pop culture icons, probably doesn't hurt to, kind of show a bit more appreciation for that, I suppose.
Now, could Marvel not be a shithead and pay them more money for their, for their characters, or DC, yeah, they could. There's always the argument that they could. But I don't think they have any reason to, other than, basically, it's kind of like an artist is... Oh, sorry, Cody, you go on while I get my thoughts together.
Okay, I think the one that interested me the most is reading about how Ed Brubaker probably, the writer who wrote the Winter Soldier arc originally, and retooled Bucky Barnes into this character of the Winter Soldier, got paid more for residuals for making a cameo in the movie than for creating the character. And while, on the one hand, when you first hear it, that sounds crazy, it's also a question of, well, did you technically make this character? You didn't create Bucky Barnes. You assigned this identity to Bucky, which is a big part of it, but, on the flip side, part of what makes the character work is the fact that the character is previously established and built up by other writers who aren't you. So, where does the buck stop? Where is the line drawn? There are definitely some things that creators in the industry could afford to be treated better. He and Steve Epting actually weren't invited to a Winter Soldier after party, and they had to get Sebastian Stan to let them in.
Damn.
Which is...
Yeah, that's kind of cold.
Gross. Absolutely, they should be 100% acknowledged for their hand in creating these characters, but it's do you have to pay every writer who's ever worked on Bucky because they might draw something from the comic that helps contribute to how it's portrayed in the thing? I don't necessarily think so. And then you get into the issue of, what about creators where the creators aren't alive anymore? Say one of the Eternals really takes off after they pop up in another movie, or if Eternals 2 does better than the first one. Are you going to pay Jack Kirby's estate because they're related to the guy who originally made these characters? That's kind of ridiculous when you put it like that.
A company, I don't know. I feel like even though it's the evil, way, the way that most people would frown upon, they really do not have any rights, because that's licensing rights, and licensing rights goes into a whole other realm of copyright law. So, like, it in my opinion, yes, should Marvel pay, Marvel and DC, pay their writers more for acknowledgement, maybe a bonus, or royalty checks. I mean, it would be nice. It's a nice gesture, but they really, in the end, they knew what they were getting into when they signed that contract.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you can also make the argument that there was no way of knowing how big, especially in Marvel's case, these things were going to blow up when the character was first made. I guarantee when Deadpool was made, there was no way of knowing this character was going to just blow up. But then there's also the argument, yeah, Rob Liefeld technically made Deadpool in that he was the first person to write the character of Deadpool, but he is not responsible for making Deadpool the wisecracking, fourth wall breaking merc with a mouth. So,
here's what I would say.
It's a weird thlet's
You have to separate it from comic icon, and think about it like this. So let's say developer at Apple or IBM, after they made the next, this designer made the next model of Apple or IBM compatible PC from like in the 70s.
Right.
And they did not know how the takeoff of that was going to be, and say that model got successful, and this probably did happen where, a designer made something that was significant and was, used by the military and used by educators and blah 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 blah. Outside of the entertainment, it became a product that was like selling like hotcakes, and they didn't get paid royalties for their idea because they signed a contract that said that anything that you make for the company is owned by the company. It doesn't change the fact that that's still valid,
right?
An entertainment company. In my opinion, it's not shitty for the company to. I mean, the company should acknowledge these successes and should, put them on a high pedestal for making these created. I mean, they should treat all of these creators like they treated Stan Lee, with respect. And like, hey, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Without these creators, we wouldn't be here. The only one that ever gets acknowledgement is Stan Lee. And Stan Lee did create a good chunk of their characters, yes, but so did Jack Kirby. So did a shit ton of what is his name? Steve Ditko.
Steve Ditko.
Yeah,
co-creator of Spider-Man.
Yeah, and quite honestly, the one that gave all the personality to Spider-Man.
And also, I'm pretty sure he created the Question.
I believe. Was that him or was that Kirby? I thought that was Kirby.
No, that was Ditko, I think.
It was Ditko? Huh. But, like, exactly, you see, we're having questions because everyone knows comic books, they know Stan Lee, but you don't know all of these other people, like Neil Adams, even though he is kind of a dickhead, but... Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the highest profile characters right now at Marvel that Stan Lee didn't create were Daredevil and... No, wait, did he make Daredevil? Did he help with Daredevil?
I think he helped with Daredevil.
This is confusing. And most of the Guardians. He did create Groot. But Groot was also radically different in his first appearance in Strange Tales or whatever it was. So, pretty much the Guardians don't really have much to do with Stan, but other than that...
I mean,
it's also... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he was the editor, too, so on top of that,
yeah.
Who was the editor after he died, who created the Conan series, who should get way more recognition? Oh God! You know who I'm talking about? He was the editor for Marvel after Stan decided to step away from the company. Fuck. Go on while I look this up.
I mean, kind of going back to the whole thing of acknowledging, the creators and whatnot. It's kind of one of those things where, if nothing else, I feel like ideally they should do that for no other reason than it creates good morale more than anything else. Obviously, I don't know what the morale situation is with inside Marvel, but it's just one of those things where, if nothing else, if you're able to do that and do it well and not make it too hammy, that's a good way to kind of build loyalty with, the people that make this stuff. Kind of going to the Apple example, granted, I remember seeing this years ago, but I distinctly remember at some point reading a thing about how when Apple first was really blowing up and was going to shows and whatnot, there was kind of a whole thing within Apple where Steve Jobs didn't want to acknowledge one of his development teams.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he didn't want to acknowledge one of his development teams because they made, like, I guess, one bad product that didn't sell well. And the members of the development team, or at least somebody who fought for them, was like, yeah, but they made all this other good stuff. And a lot of that good stuff is the reason why we're so successful. At least acknowledge their existence publicly so that they feel like they matter. So it's kind of like that kind of thing. Like, I feel like that would be the minimum, if nothing else.
So, going back to what I was saying, the guy who I'm talking about, and Cody would probably instantly recognize his name, is Roy Thomas.
Okay, I thought you were talking either Thomas or Jim Shooter.
Yeah, Roy Thomas was the first successor of editor-in-chief to Stan Lee after Stan Lee stepped away from the company. At least on the editing side. Let me just read some of the characters he's co-created, and the fact that nobody knows his name, it's really sad. He co-created Wolverine, Vision, Carol Danvers, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, Man-Thing, Adam Warlock, Morbius. Sorry for that one, Chief. Ghost Rider, The Squadron Supreme, Black Knight, Nighthawk,
Squadron Supreme.
These are big names. Valkyrie. Like, no one knows who he is. They don't acknowledge Roy Thomas at all. The only reason I acknowledge him is he's the reason why Conan the Barbarian, came over to the West, and that's how I got introduced to him. Nice. So, he's also from that he created like the mythology around Red Sonja and shit, based on his Sonya, whatever.
I think it's Sonya.
Regardless, he's a very influential man, and no one recognizes him. So
let us know in the comments if it's Sandra or Sonya.
Regardless, I think we've spieled enough on the topic of copyright.
I think we spent enough time shilling for corporations versus creators. So
is it really shilling though? Are we getting money for this?
No, I suppose not.
This podcast is sponsored by IBM. No, I'm joking.
Starring Jeff Goldblum.
Starring Jeff who?
Goldblum.
Ah, very good.
Dude, can we I would love to sponsor Jeff Goldblum.
You mean have him sponsor us?
No, I'd like to sponsor him. I didn't misspeak.
With what money?
At some point, I do need to listen to his jazz collection. Moving.
Okay, let's move on.
No, the man makes jazz music. I'm not even kidding.
It's amazing.
So, we're reviewing Choose or Die. Oh! We got you!
Which only you two have seen.
You thought it was Fantastic Beasts, but no! Fuck J.K. Rowling! Hold on a sec. I need a few seconds of silence. I might insert the air horn noises. Alright. Yeah. Back at it. We didn't go see Fantastic Beasts because, by all accounts, it sounds like a pretty shitty movie.
I was not looking forward to that, and I was not looking forward to this, and I think either way I would have been in hell.
Yeah, but at least now, you didn't give your money to J.K. Rowling.
No, instead I watched this movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
And cried in my computer chair rather than the theater.
It was
I am looking forward to hearing about this.
Dude, okay. It is one of the dumbest movies with one of the absolute dumbest endings I've ever seen. The end fight in this movie, oh my god, it is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on screen. Okay.
So if I may ask real quick, is this, because like I said, I didn't see it, is this supposed to be like more of an action movie?
It's a horror movie.
What's its angle? Oh, okay.
That's not scary at all.
Okay.
It's a cursed Commodore 64 game, basically.
That is literally the whole premise is...
Wait, what?
There is this game called Cursor for the Commodore 64. Let me go on a nerd rant for a second. It's not just on the Commodore 64, it's on the Commodore 64 cassette attachment. That's a freaking European-only fucking attachment. So, why are you... It's so obscure, and it's such an obscure thing to put a... Like, they could have just made it a floppy disk. Why did they have to make it? It actually would have made a lot more sense, Cody, if it was a floppy disk. Because who has a cassette tape transferred it in 2022? It's easy to get a floppy disk drive. You can convert over. Well, it's not easy, but you can get one from Amazon. I'm sorry.
I'm glad we watched this movie.
No, it makes more sense to do that than try and find a Commodore 64.
But a Commodore 64 with the freaking attachment? It's so specific, and I get it. They were going for the aesthetic of a Commodore game. It makes sense for what they were doing. Basically, the game is a choose-your-own-adventure game, and it's like, you get two choices, and whatever, usually they end up both being bad, kind of like a shitty Saw. And, the game is cursed. Ooh, yeah, the game is cursed, and...
It's basically inflicting pain on real people around you in order to progress, and if you make it through all 5 days, you get... What was it, $100,000? Some obscene amount of money.
Robert Englund, and literally only a voice cameo, give you $150,000.
Yeah, that's right. Robert Englund was in this as himself.
For 10 seconds.
Joke's on you, bitch!
Was that actually what he said?
No, he's basically, they call this number from 1970 something, and it's still active, and it's Robert Englund saying they want, enter your code and you won $150,000.
Okay. Is that adjusted for inflation or no?
No, I highly doubt it's adjusted for inflation.
Oh, then that sucks.
I don't know. This movie made no sense. I absolutely hated every second of it.
It's terrible.
It's absolutely god awful. It's not even scary. The horror, the death scenes are not interesting at all. Half of them made me laugh because they were just that bad.
There's one point, and spoilers, I guess, if you care about this Netflix movie. But if you did, there's a point where a guy is vomiting up cassette tape.
What?
And the main character has the option to either rewind him or fast forward him, and he's glitching out with visual distortions. And I finally figured out how to describe it. The problem with it is, this is the kind of thing that might scare you on Adult Swim at 3 a.m. if you're high as a kite.
It's not scary at all.
If you're just vegging out to whatever anime Toonami is playing, and it's 3 a.m. and you're just like, dude, what? Oh, this guy's just... Oh, man, dude, that's freaky, dude. But, if you're sober and it's not 3 a.m, then it's not scary in the slightest. It just looks really stupid.
Dude, the best was the first death where the girl was eating glass, and then random... Okay, so, to set up the scene, the first time that they play... the main character plays the game... is at a diner. She plays it, and basically it says you could choose either coffee or tea, I think. She chooses coffee, blah, 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 blah. And then it says,
take a break?
Take a break, yes or no. And if she chose take a break, and the waitress starts breaking glasses on the ground.
And then the game goes, have her break more or clean up?
And she chooses clean up, and she proceeds to start eating the glass. But as she's eating the glass, and she runs to go stop her boss, who is sleeping in one of the booths, literally does a ooga booga booga, starts doing random jittering. It's it's supposed to be a jump scare, but it's really, really, really funny.
I'm very curious about the dude who you have to... with the tape coming out of his mouth, how do you rewind him? Do you twist his nipples?
No, there was a knob on the console that if you turn it, it rewinds. Because by that point they're at the headquarters of where this place was based, and they're learning about what the tape or about what the game is.
By the way, that's the dumbest explanation of all time. Is it's a cursed alphabet that we coded into the video game.
Something demonology symbols. Something. If you make other people suffer through the game and you control the code, you gain all the power.
I was so angry. I was so angry watching this movie.
I have already... We just watched this last night, and I have already forgotten most of this movie, except for the final boss, who I only remember how stupid the gimmick was, and you describing him as looking like an older Charlie Day.
Yeah.
We're in a cursed video game, Mario! I can't
God.
do the Charlie Day voice right now. God damn it.
Oh, God. So, before that, I want to paint the picture of the second death in the movie. Or the second level of the movie.
There is no meat in the living room.
There is no
meat. You are hungry.
Meat!
What?
Okay, so
Okay.
So the main character's mom is a crack addict.
Okay,
and
sure.
She keeps
Because
complaining about
the main character's younger brother drowned in a pool or something. I don't know.
And basically she uses crack to get
numb the pain,
disassociate. And she while she's on crack, she tells the main character that the rats in the wall are coming closer. So when the main character's at work, the virus hits and the game hits, and the mom calls and says, "The rats are here! The rats are here!" And you hear a rat sound. And you go to the computer, and it's a giant rat on the computer, and the mom is like a little, like, character in the far left, and basically, she has to guide the rat to kill her mom.
What?
And it's so stupid. And
it ends with the mom taking a tumble out of a window and a cartoon, like, thud sound effect, and I half expected the Duck Hunt dog to just pop up and chuckle.
This sounds like someone... The takeaway I get from what you guys are telling me is that someone, like, really liked Death Note, but took all the wrong parts from it.
Wait for it. Okay, let's go to the awful twist for the final level, which is, it's basically... The first guy who not created the curse, but the first person who copied the curse onto like many different discs and sent it out. He's the one that's benefiting from the curse right now.
How?
Because he made copies. He made copies of the game, so the game left him alone. But now that she's at the house, they have to fight to see who's the ultimate hero. And the gimmick is, if she hurts herself, she hurts him. If he hurts himself, he hurts her. So they are basically beating themselves up or getting other people to shoot them, so that way it kills the other person. It's really dumb. It ends with the girl getting her neck slit while she basically wraps herself around a large stone or a large base and drowns in a pool. So he dies of drowning in the middle of it, from water.
There's just water leaking out of his nose and mouth, and it was pretty fucking funny. He just looks like a human sprinkler.
And then they just ignore the fact...
I'm not horrified in the horror movie sense of horrified because, it doesn't, it doesn't sound good. I'm horrified in the, holy crap, someone needs, some cheese to cut that edge or something.
Dude, it gets worse. So
how?
So she miraculously survives this,
Of course she does.
Because getting her neck slit wasn't enough to kill her, I guess. And
she probably absorbed the power of the game, and it healed her.
And now it ends with her using the power of the game like the Death Note. And she's only using it on people who deserve it.
Okay, so my Death Note analogy was not
far
so
off. Good.
It's
That's really disappointing, honestly.
Dude, it is one of the worst movies I've had to sit through for this so far.
And yet, I'm still glad we saw that and not Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts would have made me probably had a stroke in theater, but this just made me very angry. I will say this. This Spiral is still my favorite So Bad It's Good movie of this year, of the last couple of years.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Greg, we need to get you to watch Spiral sometime.
I know.
Speaking of stuff that you need to watch eventually, does this wrap up the Choose or Die review? Do we think it's bad? Don't bother.
It's bad. Don't watch it.
If you have to pick between this or Fantastic Beasts, though, by all means, watch this instead.
I mean, how about neither?
Yeah, gun to my head, I'd rather watch Choose or Die, but if I had to choose or die, I'd pick Choose or Die.
Choose or Die.
But
oh, well, that's okay.
So I guess we're good to move on to Moon Knight, which I assume means, Greg, you need to cut out here.
Yep. All right, yep, and I will take my leave. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a nice night. Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
All right, Moon Knight time.
Yeah. I don't think this episode was as good as the last two.
I liked it.
I liked it, but I feel like it It's weird that I say I don't like this one as much because there's more of what I wanted out of a Moon Knight show in this. Like, we definitely got more Moon Knight actually fighting guys and other stuff, and the expansion of the Ennead was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
But it all just plays out so weird, like, it feels like there's bits missing from it. I don't know.
I will say that it did feel like it was skipping at some parts, just because of time.
Yeah, which is so weird, because you can make these as long as you want.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do like the whole Khonshu stuff, like in the inner, in the Ennead, and all of the gods judging him. Spoilers, right? This whole thing spoilers, right?
Yeah, might as well be. This is episode 3 of Moon Knight, so
good point.
At this point, yeah.
Well, him turning into stone after disobeying the gods another time was kind of cool.
Except for the part where they could have just used an app to identify what the night sky looked like all those years ago, so him turning back the night sky was entirely pointless.
Shit, I didn't think about that. I'm not gonna
lie. Yeah, there was no need for any of that. I do like
It looked cool.
Yeah, and I do like I like the air they give Khonshu in that bit of him just going, I remember that night. I remember every night. It's like, this is wistful and actually makes you sound like less of a jackass, which is good, especially because, okay, that trial scene was dumb.
Which one's the trial scene?
The
trial scene. Okay.
Trying to get Harrow judged, where Khonshu starts off going, our case must be airtight, takes over Mark's body, he is evil! It's the stupidest shit, because all he's doing is just standing there screaming like an idiot.
Yeah, it is kind of dumb. Now that you mention it, I was expecting them to have a better plan.
And they just call him in, and they're like, he's trying to find Ahmed's tomb, and he's like, no, I'm not. And that's it. That's the end of the discussion. And they just reverse Uno's it and makes it about Mark and Khonshu, and it's just like, well, why don't you bring up his tattoo? Why don't you bring up that he's got the scarab? Why don't you bring up any of this stuff? And maybe they'll reveal why later, but it's really unsatisfying in the moment.
Yeah, I was kind of like annoyed at that part. Now that I think about it,
it's just
I think my favorite aspect of the show is Steven. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, no, he's way better than Mark, and he'll remain that way probably until Jake shows up, because now it's pretty much confirmed Jake exists.
Is that why they were talking about the third? Oh, I didn't do this, did you? No.
Yeah, that's probably Jake Lockley. I don't know why they've apparently made him more violent than Mark, but I guess we'll find out when he properly shows up. Although it is interesting, apparently in one of the more recent Moon Knight runs, Lockley was apparently running around doing horrifying stuff, but nothing ever really came of it. And, I don't know, TV Tropes treats it like a different personality, but, that's hardly the be-all end-all of research purposes. But, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing where they take Jake. I was happy to see that Mr. Knight is just consistently what happens when Steven channels Khonshu's power and not just a one-off thing. So hopefully we'll eventually see more of him later on as well.
I love Mr. Knight. I love Steven. He's my favorite. I just
nope,
love him.
Take the body back, Mark. Take the body back. Getting stabbed with spears. I find it interesting they established that the armor actually does heal.
Yeah, that was interesting to learn as well. I really like where they're taking the show. There's room for improvement for sure, but so far it's pretty strong.
The one downside I have with Khonshu being sealed up is that presumably means Mark and Steven no longer have access to the suit, which is kind of a problem considering that there's only 3 episodes left of this show. So, if I'm interpreting this correctly, maybe don't expect a whole bunch more Moon Knight in this show about Moon Knight, which, oh well. It'd be a little bit better if it was set up better,
Mm-hmm.
But, guess we'll just have to see, which, hey, good thing it comes out Wednesday morning, so I don't have to wait too long.
I have to wait because I work.
Yeah. I also think it's a shame that Gaspard Ulliel, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm bad with names. The man who plays Anton Mogart. Unfortunately, he passed away in a skiing accident in January, and the third episode was dedicated to him. And I think that's unfortunate.
Really
because,
unfortunate.
Yeah. Especially because the character does not do much in this episode, and I doubt he's really going to show up again in the next few, considering how quickly this series is moving. But in the comics, he becomes the costume thief Midnight Man, who gets washed away in a river, down some sewers, gets mutated by sewer waste, teams up with Bushman, kidnaps Mark's butler and also a statue of Khonshu, which then ends up breaking. He gets swept away again. Eventually he gets cancer and dies, but his son becomes Moon Knight's temporary sidekick, and then, mistaken for dead, gets left behind by Moon Knight and gets turned into a cyborg, and it's all very, like, this is bizarre comic book shit that I'm kind of hoping to see.
Yeah, I would be interested to see that. Sounds pretty dope, actually.
I like the Layla dynamic with Mark and Steven now, though. That was pretty good.
I do. I think that Layla's gonna fall for Steven, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Steven's probably more, especially because Mark probably killed her dad.
Oh, really? You think
Probably. I think so. I know Mark's partly responsible for Marlene's dad dying in the comics. So, since Layla's basically a stand-in for Marlene, presumably, I would assume the same thing applies, and that's what Harrow was talking about when he said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, like, if she knew everything you've done, she'd see you the same way you do, unworthy of love. I assume he killed her dad. Or is somehow responsible for it.
We have 3 episodes left to figure that out.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Or season 2.
I doubt it.
Probably not, because Oscar Isaac's not signed on.
Also, because, according to Marvel's Emmy plans for consideration, Hawkeye and Moon Knight are being submitted as limited series, unlike Loki, which is being submitted as a season 1 or something.
Okay.
So, presumably that means neither Hawkeye nor Moon Knight are really getting second series, which is kind of a shame, because honestly, I think Hawkeye was one of the better of the Disney Plus shows so far.
Hawkeye was excellent. I really enjoyed it.
And Moon Knight so far is shaping up to be a really good contender for also one of the best ones, assuming the next episodes stray more episode 1 and 2 than episode 3. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm enjoying it so far. It's very good.
Do we think that, because the Ennead's supposed to have 9 gods, and there was only, 6 of them, including, assuming Khonshu's part of the Ennead? Apparently the roster changes depending on who you ask. So I wonder if we're going to get to see the whole of them assembled.
That would be really interesting. I'd love to see them in their non-avatar forms. That'd be really cool.
Actually, I wonder, this can't possibly tie into Thor Love and Thunder.
Yo, what if it does?
Ooh, I dare not get my hopes up, because down that road lies much evil and disappointment, but if the Ennead showed up in Love and Thunder and they're helping out Thor against the God Butcher, or maybe that's why Moon Knight doesn't show up, maybe Thor the God Butcher gets to the Ennead.
Oh man, that would actually be really cool, actually.
And then he is just a crazy guy in a suit.
Then he really is, yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we don't have long to wait, apparently.
Yeah, so. Less than 3 months.
Yeah. And 3 episodes left of Moon Knight, so.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see then.
So, is that our last thoughts on this week's episode?
I think so. I think so.
So, I guess for all you, thank you for listening this far.
Yeah.
Viewers of, I'm bad at this. Watch our
viewers
stuff.
And listeners, if you're listening on Spoofy.
Oh yeah. Subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube and.
I think it's follow on Spotify. Thank you.
I don't care. They know they're not 12. Maybe if you are 12, you're cool. You're a cool 12-year-old. Okay.
Yeah, and I do not say that lightly.
Well, before we
but
get
then again,
weirder,
he said it, so I don't say it at all.
Okay, before I get put on another list, let's end this now.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Have a nice night, everybody.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
Or a nice day, whenever you're listening to this. Don't be constrained by the passage of time. Listen to this whenever you want.
That's Moon Knight's problem.
And make sure to show up next week. And the next one. Just
what are we reviewing next week?
I'm gonna guess The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, but I guess we'll find out.
Sounds about right.